The big story today is that the Pope did not look very happy meeting Donald Trump. So we're going to do a little body language analysis today and see what we can come up with ourselves. I can tell you that this is probably a pretty easy one to judge. When you're looking for evidence that somebody is happy to see you, well, it's very easy to see that. So it's not a surprise at all that people would hit up on this very early in the game, and they're going to compare the Pope with other world leaders. So now the problem with a picture like this is you can cherry pick pictures, and you can find the Pope smiling probably with any leader. But we're going to try to find as many photos as we can, and we're going to try to dig into it the best we can. Now, the first thing you have to do is get a baseline, something to judge the Pope from, how he normally acts when he's happy to see people. And so we're going to use Obama as a baseline, and it's pretty easy to see. Most of the pictures you see with the Pope and Obama, it was clear to see that the Pope was happy to see him. The creases by the eyes when he was smiling, look how close they are here. They're very close in proximity. The Pope was very, very comfortable around Obama. See, Obama had a lot of people fooled. I mean, he even had the Pope fooled. Look how comfortable the Pope looks here. It's like a grandfather. He's very calm. He's very comfortable. Like I said, Obama had everybody fooled. He went on to bomb, 7, 8, 9 countries. So now we're going to go on to Donald Trump. Donald Trump had to do the pageantry, the whole parade to get to the Vatican. And we're going to look at some pictures as he meets the Pope. The thing that struck me is that you're supposedly the so-called leader of the world, and you have to go to the Pope, to his office. To me, it's somewhat embarrassing, but I don't know. A lot of people put the Pope up on a pedestal, who he is, what he represents. To me, it's just a bunch of pompous pageantry, bunch of nonsense. But Trump, this is where Trump is at his best, in pompous pomp and circumstance. So Donald Trump is pretty comfortable in this sort of atmosphere. He enjoys this, all the gold and the glitter. So here we go. The Pope meets him. Right off the get-go, the eyes, he seems timid to me. The Pope seems timid, not assured of himself. And he says, okay, come on, sit down at the desk. I got a few things I got to tell you. So again, Trump is comfortable in this sort of setting, but we're looking for signs that the Pope is happy. That smile looked fake to me. Let's look at it again. Okay, look at the eyes. There's no creases by the eyes when he smiles. Really quickly, look at it again. See, he smiles, but there's no creases on the eyes. And then look at here. When he's smiling with Obama, see the creases by the eyes? This is very simple. Very simple. That was a fake smile. So right off the get-go, I'm not too impressed with the Pope's greeting. And then we're sitting at the desk. The distance. You see he's got the distance between him and Trump. He's got all the gold and the glitter on the desk. The cross, all the symbolism. And then we go on to this next picture, which is very telling. The Pope, I mean, it's self-explanatory. Head down, somber look. Now that might be his normal look. But again, a lot of pictures where his head is down, somber. It just doesn't appear to me that he's genuinely happy to meet Trump. It's almost like he's ashamed. In many ways, he's ashamed to meet Donald Trump. And of course, he probably had to look at that American flag pin. That probably irked him a little bit. Now, at least there's one guy. There's one guy that's happy to be there. Okay. And again, this is a smirk that Donald Trump... Again, Donald Trump, I would say he feels comfortable in all this gold and glitter. But to me, it appears that the Pope is not too happy. Now, this is a good shot here. Again, as I've said 1,000 times, Donald Trump is at ease. Look at him. He's very He's happy with himself here. But the part I see in this picture, yes, Donald Trump is happy to be there, but look at the Pope's eyes. The Pope's eyes is saying, do you know where you're at? I mean, please understand who I am and what I represent. The Pope is trying to be a lot more professional. Donald Trump's just taking in the moment. Another thing, this looks like another awkward, uncomfortable moment. Let's go to the hands. Now, if you notice, again, the eyes, the somber look, the Pope doesn't look all that happy, but look where his hands are. And then we'll go to a picture with Obama. Now, look what he's doing with his hands with Obama. In a second here. See there? I mean, he's clutching. He's holding on to the most sacred thing in a Pope's heart. I mean, what's the most sacred thing to the Pope? The cross. He's clutching it. The creases on the eyes. I mean, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure out that in that picture, he was happy to see Obama. Look at this. Hands down, head slightly down, eyes looking. I mean, it's clear here. The Pope tried to keep his distance, even if it was subconsciously. The Pope was a little ashamed to see Donald Trump, and at every Photoshop, I mean the whole pompous charade, the Pope was very controlled, somber. And then again, if we compare that to when he met Obama, totally opposite. So this is an easy one. As I said, this was a very easy one. The Pope was not all that happy to see Donald Trump. He went through the motions, he kept his distance, but you don't see any of the eye creases. I mean, you can probably look for a lot of photos, and you're not going to find very many photos of the Pope with legitimate eye creases, unless maybe he's looking at Melania or looking at somebody else in the entourage. I'll leave you with a few little tidbits about the Pope. The first Pope that ever came to the United States, that would have been in 1965, when Lyndon B. Johnson was the president. That was the first time that a Pope came to the United States. He came to New York City. That was Pope Paul VI. And then, of course, the first Pope to visit the White House, that would have been in 1979 when Jimmy Carter was the president. That was Pope John Paul II. He was the very first reigning Pope to visit the White House. So just a little bit of body language analysis on the Pope meeting Donald Trump.